Close your eyes. Imagine how do you feel if you are a woman working alone and also got caught by the villagers and they bring you into the court and assume you as a witches. How do you feel in that time? Maybe you feel tension and anxiety occurs you, right? So this is how the daily life of Salem villages in 17th centuries during the court system of the witch trial. Today I want to talk about Salem's witch trials and their history. It was a very notorious history in every American timeline. It's a series of investigation and prosecutions that happened almost a year during around 1669 to 1693. This is not the first time witch trial happened in most of the history. It was active around 40th centuries until the late of the 17th centuries. But in Salem's, as now as in Denver's, massacres already witnessed all of the witch trial victim imprisonments and hanging. Even some of them even tortured because of the false accusation by the witch hunters. Salem witch trials are so devastating story because it includes the fear of the witches and the traumas from the victim families that fail to protect their innocence. Then let me tell the background history of the witch trial and how it started. In February 1692, Elizabeth, or we call it as Betty Paris, a daughter of the Samuel Paris, a minister of the Salem, and her cousin Abigail Williams had the time to spend as a child. However, unfortunately, they experienced an odd illness that looks like the fits. The girls shows the symptoms such as screaming and also show the tempers, and they also experience the hysteria symptoms. They also complain about always getting pinched and pricked by the pigs, but they don't have now found evidence that they shows the illness of what their illness is. Makes the other women also they show the symptoms like the girls before. Tituba, a slave of Samuel Paris, decided to make the witch cake of made from the rye wax and also the urine from the girls. She baked it and also give the dog to eat until the Betty reveals the names of the witches that gave them the cursed illness. This is caused to claim Sarah Goods, Sarah Osborne, and also Tituba herself to be the witches. Three of them got arrested and they got investigated from the local magistrate to prove their witch practice in March 1692. However, Tituba have her own special to show her testimony to prove her innocence toward the girls and confess that she practiced the black magic for only to protect herself, while Good and Osborne have no any evidence to show her innocent, but at the same time they also found guilty. Now you learn the background of the witch trial. Now let's look at the trials and how they ended. The mass arrest was happening few months after 3 of the suspects was arrested. Anne Putnam Jr. and her family was also experiencing the same as the girls too, but they accused Rebecca nurse as the witches that give the cursed illness. This is to make some villagers but hated so much on of the Putnam family that they accused the innocent person into the jail. While Bridget Bishop got accused by them also, but she found innocent 12 years after her death sentence. This is caused more than 2,000 people got accused of the practicing witchcraft, and 25 people died because of the executions. Some of them died in the jail while waiting their sentence, and also some of them also died because of hanging, and some of them also died because of the crushed by the stones. But this was occurred only one person. Most of the execution victims were the women, with 40 people, while a man on the with only 11 people. In the May of 1692, Sir William Spitz established the special courts of Oyer and Terminers to collect the villagers' voice about witches. However, Cotton wrote the letter to court to make court stop receiving the evidence from the accusers based on the dreams and visions. However, the court ignores and sentences more victims. To feel unfair with the arrestment of his wife as being suspected as witches, in October 692, Phillips dissolved the court and replaced it with the Superior Court of the Judicature, which disallowed the use of any superior pieces of the evidence. In the May of the 693, Phillips apologized to all villagers for imprisoning all victims for the false witchcraft charge, and also in the few years after the incident, the respected genders and judge, including Anne Putnam Jr., made the public apologies to all villagers. Salem witch trials is unforgettable, tragic events that takes a lot of the innocent souls because of the unfair treatments of the suspects and lacks show evidence. In conclusion, I hope the modern era society will learn from the mistakes from this incident that happens in Salem's witch trial. This is because acting recklessly without seeking justice makes the innocent life opposite with injustice treatments. In the modern era, we should take the responsibility in take what is right and what is wrong to decide the situations that the Salem witch trial won't be happen again in this time. Like what George Santana says, those who not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Thank you for the listening my speech.